Hey guys, okay, I made it on. It's having
Hi.
some technical difficulty there. How y'all doing today?
How you doing?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, glad everybody could jump on. And thank you guys for being consistent. That is execution. And I love me some execution. I don't have to hold y'all's hand. I appreciate that. Um, okay, so we'll wait a few more minutes, see if we get anybody on. Did y'all have a good weekend?
Well, I was down with pleurisy. So
Wait, was down with what?
pleurisy. I had COVID 2 weeks ago, so they're thinking it caused me to have pleurisy in my
Okay.
lungs.
I was about to say, I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I hope you have
It's
recovered.
painful. Let's just say I thought I
Oh,
was having a heart attack.
oh
So
my
I went to the
God.
emergency room at our heart hospital. It's
Okay,
inflammation in your lungs, the lining of your lungs. So,
okay.
yeah.
So how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling better. I'm a lot better. I'm at
Good.
work today, so
Oh,
yeah, I'm
okay.
better.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. Well, I loved your elephant hot sample.
Thank
Yes, very proud. I love the execution. So we're
Thank
gonna
you so
get
much.
we're gonna get Wileen to be posting her samples soon. But yeah, it was very nice.
I
I love the
sent you.
texture. Yes, I called you out, Wileen.
No, I sent you some samples. I messaged you my samples, my little practice samples.
Wait, did I
Mm-hmm.
respond? I responded?
You did not. You
When
didn't.
did you
I
send
didn't put them on.
them?
I didn't put them on the main chat. I did it. When did I do it? I was busy over the weekend, so it had to be during the week last week.
Okay, well, I'll take a look.
But
I
I'll
don't.
move them. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, share them. I want you guys to share your finishes and share your techniques with everybody. Like, yeah, you can send it to me first because I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Because I tried to do I tried to do the metallic, the ones we did in the open what do you
Mm-hmm.
call that shop. But anyway, I redid those.
Okay.
I did a metallic gold, just a plain metallic gold and silver, and then I ordered my rust, but the things haven't come in yet. So
Okay. All
I'm
right.
waiting for
Well,
that next.
I apologize. I will look
Oh,
on
okay.
my phone is in use right now. So as soon as we jump off, I'll go look for the samples. But yeah, when you guys work on your samples, please post them in the community so we can see what everybody's got going on. If you guys just sit quiet and dormant, I don't know what's going on with you and I can't help you. But I am very proud of both of you ladies. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. I had a few questions about the brutalist era, the brutalism, design trend. And I was going to go through one of my most recent projects, go through it. And if you guys want a class on it, I will do a class and drop it in the app that you guys can take it. But I'm going to share my screen so that everybody can see. And then I'll just kind of walk you guys through the steps that I did to create this technique. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. All right. And then let me go to my iCloud and my photos. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do is, so when I'm working, I do record each step of the technique. So this textured finish that I did, I called it cupreous bronze, and it turned out so beautiful. We did it on the oven hood. Coach Linda was there to help me. And it was really a small job. I probably didn't need any help, but I like working with Coach Linda. And I
I
like
like
keep
working with you.
I like keeping my peeps busy. Okay, so let me see if I can just scroll up gently. All right, so we started this oven hood right before the open studio, and then we finished right after that. So let me see if I can keep going up without passing it too much. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you the actual, can you guys see? Can you guys see the screen?
I can't.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is the actual sample that my designer picked. And I was so excited. I have had this sample in my portfolio for years. So I do create high-end textures. I get in the studio, I work, I come up with stuff, and sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. And then I save, I basically save my samples. Like I go in, it's almost like cooking, like being a chef. So I'll go in and create these beautiful things, and then I'll just tuck them away. And one day somebody's going to purchase it. So this day was that day. But it's a very deep black, bronzy type finish, very brutalist. Like I said, we were talking about the brutalist design trend a few weeks ago on this coaching call. And so I got to actually implement that. So this is what the sample looks like. These are let me play the video. Okay, so this sample is made up of this deep brown tone. That's going to be the base coat. And then on top is this cupreous. I was like, wait, how do you pronounce that? But it's this one that's on top. So that is the actual video that I sent to my designer. So my client just happened to be my interior designer at the time. So I sent him that. Let's see if we can. Oh.
What's the color? Let's spell it for us.
Here, it's cupreous, CUPREOUS.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then here is before. Here is a before. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know how. Oh, here we go. All right, here is the before video. So he actually had a oven hood built out custom. And it's basically just the oven hood, but then he had it framed in like drywall. I think it's wood and drywall. I didn't really get into it. But it's literally like a wall up there. It's nothing like stone or anything like that. You could actually see the sheets of drywall that they put up. So
it's the base. It's the base. I'm sorry. It's the base coat of flat.
Well, we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna get into that. And then I will probably end up doing a course. So if you missed today's call, this was just for you guys. But I probably will drop a course in the app that you can take. But this is me actually walking you through it. Okay, so beginning. Oh, same thing. Okay, so all of these are pictures. Let me see if I can play this. So that's another before video. So you can actually see, it's basically nothing up there. Before pics. I take plenty of before pics. Before videos. Do this on all your projects and your jobs, because the biggest thing that people like to see is a before and after. That's how you get to the money. When people can see how you transform something and then you transformed it into something else, they're going to be like, oh my God. So that's how you get people's attention. So let me get to all of these are before. See, I take a ton of before pics because I never know what's going to work. Oh, I put myself in one holding the sample. 2. And this is how you also can create your content. So for instance, this is nothing, just me smiling, holding the sample, a good 1, 2, keep it moving. So don't stress out about your content. Just do whatever. Everything is content, seriously. All right, so have we gotten to, so here's our first coat. So actually this is me prepping. So as you can see, I did not bring in scaffolding. This job was definitely tall enough for me to use a scaffold, but my client was like, oh, you can just stand on the counter. So I was like, bet. So I brought in a short ladder. We also had an 8-foot ladder, and I basically shifted everything around and stood on the countertops to get this job done. And so as you can see, let's see, as you can see here, I have my painter's plastic. I put that over the stove. I covered the backsplash. I put a painter's plastic around this light, and I just taped off everything around it. And here I'm rolling on the base coat. So the base coat is actually the primer coat. So whenever you're working with lime products, you typically have to base coat it with some kind of lime based primer. With this job, I think it was called scratch coat or texture coat or something coat. Oh, let me see if I can let somebody just, I don't know if somebody just left or came in.
I just came in.
Oh, you came in. Okay, good. All right. What is this? Same thing. Okay, so let's move on. So here is the primer coat. It has a little bit of like a aggregate in it, and it makes it kind of like sandy. It's almost like sand is in it, but we need the texture in that. We need the primer coat to be almost kind of scratchy because it needs to be able to catch the next layer. So one coat of the primer, as you can see there. This is a little bit closer view of how I prepped. And that's the primer coat that's up. Nothing super crazy. It doesn't have to be beautiful and pretty. I just covered everything. Oh, this won't let me be great. Okay. Next is more videos of the primer coat drying. And I just did this in like maybe 2 hours, and then I took myself and went home. So it wasn't a very taxing day. It wasn't super tired. That's just more of me, how I prepped the space and put on the primer coat. Here is my customer.
You doing that?
We're just having a little fun with the samples. That's about it. You know, anything is content. Okay, so now I'm headed into the open studio day. Now we're back. Okay, so this is more content. I think I caught Linda cleaning out a bucket. Just anything is content. All right, so we'll get back to all right, so after you put your primer coat up, the next coat is your skim coat. And this product is a Marmarino, you know, it's Marmarino based product. And so you put the scratch coat on your primer coat, and then you come back over at 100% with this layer right here, because all of this is a chemical process, and it's going to catch the next layer. So it's already gritty on this paper. Now we're going on the sample. Now we're putting the next coat, which is actually 100% coverage of the plaster that I'll be using. So let me get a little closer. Oh, wait a minute. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Oh, I did it in class. Sorry, guys. I always do parallel samples. I don't just show up on my client's job and be like, here you go. I do a sample. So I do the sample, and then I do the wall. I do the sample, and then I do the wall. I always do a parallel sample, so I'll know what this wall is going to look like. So I did my sample at the open studio before we left. So this layer is called a skim coat.
No, it's safe. So just make sure you get that.
And then here you can see that I'm about to cover 100% of the surface with the plaster and create a skim coat.
Come closer. Just for understanding, is the skin coat, that's the second layer?
Yes, the skim coat is the second layer. The first layer was the primer.
Fine, okay.
Okay. And Wileen, this is similar. The skim coat is the same thing you did with the glitter gloss at the open studio. When you cover thin and 100%, that's what a skim coat is. Okay. All right, so as you can see, I came down the wall and I just did 100% coverage, very thin, very flat. I didn't skip around. I didn't try to create some magnificent texture. All I'm doing is layering up for the next layer. So this is the second layer to this finish, and it's called a skim coat. And then I do let this dry overnight. All right, so I let that sit overnight. So I go home, come back the next day. I think we probably spent maybe 2 or 3 hours doing that, if that. And I believe this is us doing the skim coat. So again, it's white. You can't really see it, but that's what's happening here. And then here is our, y'all know I'm good for a good time-lapse video. But I don't know if you can see the transition from the white to the cream. The plaster is a little more creamy. But basically, I'm not skipping around. And we're just taking turns, you know, getting it done. So again, it took us maybe 2 hours. Maybe if I was by myself, maybe 3, if that. And that's with cleanup and getting out of there, everything. Okay, so now we're moving to the third level of this brutalist metal technique. Hold on, let me let somebody in. All right, so now that we're moving on, I want you to actually see how I apply. If you're just joining the coaching call, hey, we're learning a metallic textured finish today. All right, so let me play this. Let me make sure. Okay. So the key, this is the money layer. What I call money layer is when it really starts to matter. The layers that people are going to see, the layers that are going to pop, the layers that draw interest. This is a money layer. And as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm popping the plaster onto the wall. And then I'm knocking it down just ever so gently. So technically, I would call this a knockdown, technique if I had to name it. I'm not covering 100% of the wall. Just a nice pop here and there, here and there. And I do kind of like to let my pops dry a little before I smooth over and knock them down. I like to let the peaks kind of harden just a little bit. Maybe I might wait maybe 5-10 minutes, if that. But this is a sample, so I am doing the sample a little quicker.
Is that trowel the same one we use in the studio?
Yep, this is a Venetian trowel, Venetian plaster trowel, and this is the same trowel that you guys used in the open studio. So see how I'm just kind of popping the product onto the wall. I'm not knocking it down yet. I'm letting it kind of harden just a little bit.
Is it heavy?
Yeah, it's thick. It's not heavy, but it's thick.
It's thick.
It's thick like joint compound thick. All right, so here I'm just knocking it down gently. I'm holding, as you can see, I'm holding the trowel with my fingertips. There's no pressure. It's just gently gliding across the surface to knock down the peaks. And this is how I get the texture. This is how I get the technique. Any questions about the knockdown so far? If you guys have any questions, please come off mute. Yeah. Like her world starts to crumble. I don't know what I was talking about. So just
did I see you knock it down, then go back over it with the tapping again?
Yep.
Okay.
So you do what you need to do to get it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. There's no step one, step two like that. Like if I want to add more interest, then I'll add more product and I'll, pop it and then I'll smooth over it. So here you can see me adding more product because it wasn't enough interest for my taste.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
And see how I'm looking at it and kind of playing with it. So whenever you're doing your walls, guys, even your artwork, always stop, step back, take a look, step away from it, come back to it, and just make sure that you really like what's going on. So this is a closer view of the finish. See how thick that is?
Yes,
and then I smoothed out the actual peaks of the plaster. So that is how I got the actual texture that is on the wall. Let me see. I did another one. Does anybody want to see it done again, or are you guys good? Good?
Good.
Okay. So this is the finish. So you can see that we're headed towards that way, right? Now, the next step is the secret sauce. Maybe not. Okay, so this is the next step. So after you have let that texture dry overnight, you finish popping, knock down, clean up, go home, you come back the next day, and this is where it gets tinted. Literally, all I'm doing is painting the texture. Oh, nope, that's me popping it on, sorry. So this is me doing the pop coat after I did my parallel sample on the counter. And I wanted to make sure that my parallel sample was gonna look good with the texture, how I was popping it. And now I'm back into the actual wall, popping the wall. So it's a knockdown again. Again, you can barely see it, but it is definitely there. So let me show you the knockdown after I got done. Where this is actually when I'm in the middle. See right here is peaked. I haven't knocked that down yet. So this is me working on it. I'll play that again. So the peaks haven't gotten knocked down yet. And then more peaks. I'll play it again. So see, I'm actually letting those peaks sit there for a minute before I knock them down. Let me keep playing. So see all the videos that I take and do? I take a lot of videos throughout the process so that I can have content. So I believe that was before I actually combed it down or knocked it down. I think that was just for content. Now you can kind of see me knocking it down gently in this video. Very soft All I'm doing is getting those peaks off of it. Those mountaintops, I'm just doing it very, very flat. And then this is the finished product. That one goes kind of fast. Let me see if I can get the next one. Might be a little slower. You like a little texture. Oh, what was I doing? Okay. Can you guys see the texture up there?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So I did several videos so you could see the texture that I did. And now once this texture is up there, it's done. You can't keep going back into it. Once it gets dry, you're done. So while it's wet, make sure you like how it looks. I'll play this one again. I like that. You can see how smooth it was at the end. See how smooth this is? So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking those, like those mountaintops, those peaks, and I'm just knocking it down lightly. Let's see. I think this is just another video of the finished knockdown process. All right, so now this is where the magic happens. So the next day when you come in, you have to sand it just lightly because there might be a little bit of rocks here and there. It might feel a little chunky. So all I did, it wasn't a big extension cord with a sander, none of that. I just had a sanding block in my hand, just a nice once over, you know, almost like if you're, I don't know, sharpening the nail, just something nice, fingernail, something nice and once over. But now this is how I get to the color. This is how I get the white plaster tinted. So if you haven't figured it out, or if you have, let's see. And that's literally all I'm doing. So I took the darker color and I basically just base coated the wall. Now, this is not a flat paint. It is a metallic paint. It's a metal paint. So it does have a sheen to it for sure. And you can't get no easier than this. I'm telling you, like, this is so easy. And I think you can charge, well, I think I charged him around 22, maybe 23 per square foot to do this technique. But look how easy that is. And you can actually see now all of the texture, all of that knockdown coming through the metallic paint. Now, the trick to this is, to getting it nice and solid, is you have to use either a fuzzy roller or something kind of thick so that he can get up down into the crevices. And then I always like to do 2 coats. So I'll do this coat, I'll let it sit up and dry maybe 30, 45 minutes, and then I'll go back and do a second coat, and then I'll go home.
And what color is that?
This was called, I don't know, I have to go back to the video. I don't know if it was black and bronze. I can't remember the name of it. But the base coat was something, it's 2 different colors that I'm working with. So here, I'll show you. Now look how pretty that is. That's before I've even put the next coat. That's before I've even added the cupreous bronze on top. Very pretty.
Did you mix the 2 colors, the black and brown?
No. Nope.
You didn't.
Okay, so here it is. Me basically. So this is the secret sauce, the secret step. And all I'm doing is rolling on my metallic paint. And you have to make sure you have enough, because when stuff is textured and layered, you have to make sure you don't run out of paint. So have enough paint with you, because it's not like rolling a flat wall. When you're rolling something textured, it absorbs a lot of the paint. So I'll play this one. I think this is me finishing up. Now you can see how chunky that one coat is. That's not good. So that's why you let it dry. You can actually see the roller marks. So that's not good. So you let it dry, and then you come back and roll a second coat, and then all of that disappears. Okay, and then this is after my second coat. No, that's after the first coat. So do y'all see how you can see my roller marks still? I'll play this one again. First coat, roller marks, right here, right here. All of that's bad. Let it dry completely. And then once you go in for a second roll, let me see if this is the first or the second. Yeah, that's the first coat. With this one 55-year-old on the app, and you could yes to all of the above that I'm open, all right? So I matched with this one 55-year-old all right. On the app, and so all of that was my first coat of metallic paint. And let me see if I can get a second coat. Oh yeah, this is the second coat. See how pretty that is? No roller marks. We haven't even added in the cupreous bronze on top. Very pretty. So technically, yeah, like yeah, I was about to say you could leave it like that. I mean, if you left it like that, I wouldn't be mad at you. Some stuff you're not allowed to just walk away from. You have to finish it the way I teach it to you. But this is not one of those finishes. This, you can literally leave it like it is. Isn't that pretty? So this is what I mean by learning the higher end techniques. Nobody would even think that that is drywall. Literally, it looked like we flew in slabs of, you know, some kind of textured marble or something like that. And this is up close, a little bit up closer. All right. Now this is where the last step comes in. I'm adding the cupreous bronze metallic paint on top. I am using a big wallpaper sponge. I did wet the sponge. Let me go ahead and let it play. I did wet the sponge with water.
Is this the same day?
No. You gotta let each layer has to dry overnight. So you see I took my sponge and I'm going over this with the cupreous bronze. And in this video, it doesn't really transform. I don't know if it's the lighting, but I'm literally just wiping the bronze on the top, the pinks. I'm not trying to dig into all of the bottom areas that we did the first 2 days. I'm just lightly, almost like a feather. I'm just brushing over the peaks of this technique. Let's see if I pick it up. You like it? So it turned out really, really nice. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I can't see. I can't see it. Hold on one second. Do I go back in? All right, so let me see if again, it's so muted. You can kind of see me coming down the wall. Now this right panel, I have not finished at all. So see, the left panel does look a little more bronzy. The right panel is definitely that black and bronze shade. So again, I just have my soaked sponge in hand with a little bit of the paint on it. I'm using my chip brush to get into the crevices and the cracks in the corners, because obviously my my wallpaper thing is sponge is this big and it doesn't get in the small areas. And that is pretty much it. I'll let you see that again.
So heat won't destroy this from the stove?
Will paint do what now?
The heat. Heat from
No,
the stove
there's
will
no,
not.
well, no, because there's no, actually, none of this will be near heat.
Okay.
But it is durable enough, you know, like I've done this around fireplaces, places like that. Now, direct heat, like, no, you obviously can't sit the sample on top of a,
Right.
you know, the oven or the stove and expect it to last. But there's no direct heat coming off of this up here. It'll never be, you know, affected by the heat from his oven. This is after.
Yeah.
Very pretty. So you can definitely tell the difference once I put the Cuparious bronze on top. Very pretty.
That's a centerpiece.
Very, very pretty. It's very rich, very luxurious. You know, I probably saved him so much money versus him trying to fly in or go pick out a big piece of marble and marble each side of that and the wall. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot to do that. And then the marble and the tile, that stuff is really heavy as well. So I was able to achieve the look he wanted with paint and plaster.
And exactly what look was he going for again?
He wanted a textured metal
Okay.
kind of feel.
Gotcha.
And see, his home is very everything's very natural. It falls right into the brutalist, you know, design trend. Natural floors, everything is marble, natural tone. As far as the cabinets, everything was wood grain. So it's a very natural space, if I have to put a word to it. Turned out really nice.
Yeah, that's very pretty, Toby. I just came in. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Hi, Tamiko. I was teaching the class.
So that's correct.
I was teaching the class how to do this. No, this is my Cuparious bronze metal technique, and it is basically marmerino. It's a marmerino finish.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I seen it and I said, "Oh, that's pretty."
Turned out very, very. It's gorgeous. It's perfect in his home. So here are some pictures of it. Very high end. Yeah, people aren't really looking at it like, oh my God, is this paint? You know what I'm saying? They see it, but they don't quite understand what it is they're looking at. Let me see. I did a video. I guess I deleted the video. But anyways, are there any questions? Oh, there was a question about what the name of the paint was, right? So I'll go back to that. Oh Lord, it's always so, this thing is always so finicky. You move it 2 steps.
You know, Toby, you could almost say that that is a true example of a faux finish.
Yep, it is. Okay. Here we go. These are the colors that I used.
Hey, Toby.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, I thought you had a question.
No, is that in your Amazon card?
The colors?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's why I'm giving them to you now. Okay, so Aaron asked, where do you get the metallics? It's a place out of LA called Mioted. Or if you're in Atlanta, or not just Atlanta, there's a place here. It's our Benjamin Moore downtown. And the Benjamin Moore sells metallic paints. So if you call Mioted, their metallic paints are called Sapphire Metallics. Okay? If you call a Ben Moore near you, usually they're going to be carrying Modern Masters. All right? So my Benjamin Moore can match my metallic paints. So what I did was I took the two colors that I needed, which was, did we figure it out? It's Cupreous. Hey, Michelle. Okay. Hold on. So this sample is made up of this deep brown. So the base coat is called deep brown if you call Mioted. Okay. The top coat is called Cupreous bronze if you call Mioted. Now, if you find it in another metallic store, you're going to have to match it. I don't know how to tell you to do that other than you're going to have to order a color chart and then match it that way. But if you go online, you should be able to pull up these colors and you should be able to take it to your local Ben Moore. And your local Benjamin Moore should be able to match to these two colors. So if you're not out in LA or you don't have a Mioted near you, I hope I'm not over explaining this, but Benjamin Moore carries a product called Modern Masters. At least they should. In Modern Masters, you can get these two colors matched or pick two colors out of the Modern Masters wheel that look like these two shades. Does everybody understand? So the the two colors are deep brown and Cupreous bronze if you call Mioted. But again, I did not water down any of the paints. You know, because you guys are in the coaching group, I give you like the real tea. But maybe if I'm online, I might say I made a metallic glaze or something like that, but it's not a glaze. I use both paints straight out of the can. I did not mix the glaze into them or anything. And now I will say this oven hood was super, super small. So if I had have done like a huge room, I probably would have turned the Cupreous bronze into a glaze. So I probably would have put a little bit of Floetrol in there because I want it to stay open and I don't want it to dry up on me. So always, you know, think ahead of the game. When you have to do big spaces, make sure your whatever product you're working with, it's not going to dry out on you. Because if it dries out on you and you can't soften the like dried paint lines. So just keep that in mind as well. So the bigger the space that you're doing, the more care you have to make sure, like, let me make sure I got enough working time to get around this room. So if I was doing a bigger room, I probably would have made it into a metallic glaze. And the metallic glaze is similar to what I would put on top of the elephant hide. So those of you that have gotten to your elephant hide, it's the same concept. You put Floetrol in the metallic paint, and then that becomes almost your glaze. That becomes your glaze. So I'll show you guys one more time. And do we have any questions? Any questions? So I was really happy he picked this. Like I said, sometimes I come up with stuff. I don't know why I'm coming up with it, but I like it, so I keep it. I put it in my arsenal. It's always good to have, techniques, custom techniques and finishes. And remember, that's what people are paying for, right? Like if they want a wallpaper, then they don't need to call you. They can just go get wallpaper that everybody else has. So remember, that's one of the selling points for your services, for your work. Nobody has this. Well, unless you guys go and do it, then other people have it. But I'm not even worried about that. But I know that this is something I created. The 9 times out of 10 that somebody has this exact wall is going to be very, very slim. And I tell people that too, like when they're like, oh, it's how much? And I'm like, well, nobody else is going to have this wall. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Versus if they go and get $110 per square foot wallpaper, which is ridiculous, I mean, that's mass produced and somebody's going to have that wallpaper. The only time that you may not see wallpaper copied is if they hire a faux finisher, a decorative artist like us, and we come in and we're doing like a hand painted mural on that. But still, even then, if they're ordering wallpaper, somebody's going to have that wallpaper. All right. Let me see. Oh,
I had a
question?
question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. If he had done his cabinets as well, what would the base coat be?
Thank you for calling Space Form. This is Teresa. How can I help you?
Oh, mute. Okay, I don't understand the question.
What question do you
I don't understand your question. Was that
So
Waleed?
Yes, if he had did his kitchen cabinets right next to the thing you did, the part he did, then yeah.
What do you
So
mean,
how
paint
would
them
you
this
have-
color?
If he had wanted to cover his cabinets, I'm
Uh-huh.
just asking a question because my hood is the same color as my cabinets, a dark brown,
Uh-huh.
but it's not flat. It's not
But
whatever the walls are made of.
is it wood? Is it a wood finish?
It's a wood finish.
Okay. And you want to get rid of that?
No, if I wanted to paint over it, I'm just asking. Well, base coat it with that lime-based primer.
No. You would have to do a cabinet finish. This, what I'm showing you today, is not for a cabinet.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So you would have to prime this with probably like some Kills or something like that, and do your cabinet finish on top.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I'm showing you today is not for cabinets. It could be, but it's not. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I would never put this on somebody's cabinet, especially if they're using the cabinet every day, if their hand has to touch it. That's not meant for everyday wear and tear of cabinets slamming back and forth like that.
Got it. Thank you.
Question. So again, I would charge between $20, $25 for a technique like this. We actually did this technique in a ceiling, and the ceiling was not easy. So I did have a bigger crew on that ceiling, but I think I charged like $30 for the ceiling. I went up on my price because you're working on ceilings, you always charge more. Let me stop sharing. And let me see if I can find, let me see if I can find that project. I'm going to share my
Toby,
Yes.
because it's a kitchen hood, does it have to be sealed, or can it be sealed? Can that product be sealed, or is this some type of sealer?
You can seal it, but you don't have to.
And does the sealer change the color?
It could. So if you're using something that's shiny, it could change the color just a little bit. Like, to me, it like causes a glare. Where if you're using the flat, that definitely would change the top coat of a flat top coat will definitely change it, because now it's flat and you're going to lose the metal quality, which is the point of this technique. So, I'd say no, don't top coat it. There's no need. Nobody's climbing up on a ladder to touch this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is a pretty safe bet. Let me see if I can find the pearl that we did. Was that before? Sorry guys, I usually have this stuff queued up, but it just came to my mind that I did this. Oh, I might have moved them all out. I try to move stuff out of my phone. I have so much content. Yeah, I think I moved all of her. I moved it all out. I don't have it. Let me see if I can log in. Oh, you know what? Let me search on it. Library. How do I search? Aaron. How do I search? Can I search here? I don't remember. Let me see if I can find it in Dropbox real quick. Okay, and this was Aaliyah. Ah. Let me see. Leah Brown, 7 months ago. Okay. Let me see if I can show you guys this technique in a different color. Turned out, so I'll just show you the after pictures. And it turned out so beautiful. And we actually did this to fix the ceiling. I hope you guys can still see my screen. Isn't that beautiful? It's a pearl technique similar to what I just did, but they wanted it more subtle. They wanted the texture, but they wanted more subtle. I know they've been everywhere. Turned out really, really pretty. So basically it was the same texture, but I painted the base like a pearl metallic kind of feel, and then we just left it. I don't even think I glazed it. Did I glaze it? No, she didn't want it glazed, so I didn't glaze it like the Cuperist bronze. I kept it just pearl. That's all we did on top. Let me see. And it came out really pretty. So this took me probably about 12 days. I had a crew of about 5 people. I charged her around $20 for this. We did some other rooms as well. But basically, they needed something to go over their ceilings. Their ceilings just had a lot of damage to it. And we were trying to cover up ceilings. Here, let me see if I can back out. Silk. Can I get back to Aaliyah? Let me see if I have any fun videos of us working so I can show you guys. I think those are all after. Oh no, those are before. So let me show you some videos of us in process. And see how organized I am? I put everything in a folder. This was the primer layer. So I know exactly what day this was. We had a good time laughing, and this was right before the election. So it was all smiles, but there we are working. And again, you have to be able to build your crew, scale your business. And so that's what I'm here for. Ooh, I don't know what I was doing. Sorry, y'all. I'm telling y'all, everything is content. Get you some content going. People like to put a face to the work. I don't know why I had a whole. Oh, I am showing you my neck brace. So when I work on ceilings, I use my neck brace.
I was just about to ask that. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're working on ceilings, if I'm doing more than 2-3 hours, I always wear neck brace. It keeps your neck and your back
I wanted to show
safe.
you the sample with the pearl. I think it's going to be really, really pretty. I wish there was a better way I could show you.
So this is, she wanted kind of like, if you guys have eaten at Rumi's Kitchen, I don't know if Rumi's Kitchen is like worldwide or not, but here in Atlanta, Rumi's Kitchen has a very textured, this is exactly what it looks like. It's very textured, very heavy, very thick, and then they've glazed over it. So it's kind of a similar finish. This was, oh yeah, this is us working. So I just wanted you guys to kind of see. So this work is high-end, it's luxury. You don't have to go it alone. If you're charging the right price, you're getting the right, amount for the project that you're doing, you should be able to hire people. So again, this was a crew of 2, 4, 5 of us. And if I probably could have added one more, but then I would have just been standing on the floor and not working, but which is not bad. But I do like to work, you know, when I can. Let me see. We have a question. So pretty. Oh, thank you. All right. So that is today. I wanted to kind of teach you guys about the latest project that I had doing. And you can see it's easy. Roll on the primer, skim coat on your first coat of Marmerino. You pop on your second coat of Marmerino. Then you basically just base coat it with the dark chocolate bronze paint. And then you do a nice wash. And you're it. You're out the door. Very easy, very simple. So I think this would be beautiful on art work. But if you did it on art, you probably couldn't do it on like a bouncy, like a canvas that moves. You probably have to do it on a piece of particle board or something like that. And then you can frame the particle board. But I did want to show you guys this technique because it's so easy. It's very luxury, very upscale. It is architectural coating, number one. You can sell this to builders, anybody in the construction industry. It does solve issues like nail pops, tiny seams, things like that. So it's a really good technique to have in your arsenal, in your portfolio. And so I was just happy I got to do it in the, you know, a very unique color combo so I could show you guys. Anyway, yes, any more questions, please?
Toby, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's not related to this, but I was just thinking, like, once I start talking to, I guess, people to do their homes, if they ever ask me, okay, is this something that's easy to remove? Let's say I do a crock or a diamond glass. How do you know how that stuff can be removed? Is that something they add?
Yeah, so we're not in the business of removing. So if somebody asks you that, just say, yes, you could hire somebody to go over it. Like, you can't necessarily remove it, but like if it's the crock, you can joint compound over it and make the wall back flat. So anything can be covered.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so typically if they don't own the property, I wouldn't show them anything that can't be easily painted over, unless they specifically ask for that. But most of the time, when people are getting this kind of work, they're not really worried about it. And that wall or your technique is going to be up for a while.
Okay. Even with like the glitter, you don't think they'll probably, over time, probably get tired of that look?
Well, you can paint over the glitter.
Oh.
Yeah, the glitter's super fine, unless you're using like chunky glitter.
Okay.
But then, yes, if you're using chunky glitter, then you're going to have to hire someone to just smooth some joint compound over it.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And one last thing. I know you're going to be like, this girl getting on my nerves.
No, you are not getting on my nerves. That's what we're here for. Monday, this is your time.
The current contract that you uploaded, when you went in and took care of everything, you uploaded your very first contract, and then you uploaded a document that says current contract. The current contract is showing as an invoice.
Yes.
It's not a contract.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So in the system that I have, you create an invoice, you create an estimate, and then you hit a button, and it puts it all into an invoice. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I guess I was thinking the contract. I thought you were saying you've updated your contract language and it's now a different contract. So when you say my very first contract and it had all your legal terms and then it's a current contract. So I thought you had changed it from there.
No.
Okay.
So if you need legal terms, those are what they are. So the way my system works, all the legal terms are behind the scene. Like it's a attachment almost. Do you see what I'm saying? So when they get the invoice, it's like an attached piece that comes and they can click and read it or whatever. But, you know, nowadays, when you get a payment and you have them, if they make a payment or they sign your contract or whatever, that is binding. That is legally binding, especially if they pay your invoice or give you a check or something like that. All of that is legal binding. So if you want a separate contract, you can easily pull the verbiage off of my contract and just make your own contract and get them to sign that. and then you can send them an invoice. But what I do is all of it is attached together.
Okay.
And then when I send it, they just click pay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then the stuff that's in your invoice, the legal jargon, or, you know, all the words that were like all the legal stuff that was in my very first contract, if you need to go over that with them. You understand? So don't just send over all this legal stuff that you require and you
Right.
haven't told them. So you let them know, like either in your consultation or when they asking you how does your process work, you tell them.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Oh, let me see. I think I see a question. Thanks for everyone. Oh, hi, Erin. All right, guys. So that is it. I hope you guys found this useful. And what I'll do is, when I drop the coaching call, I will definitely put the formula. Again, it's Mioted out of LA. That's where I got the paint and products from. There is their colors and their product. So I will definitely put all of that into the coaching call replay this week. All
Hey,
right.
Toby,
Yes, ma'am.
where do you get the neck brace? Do you get it at like Walgreens or something?
Oh yeah, I bought mine at CVS.
At CVS?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it is
Okay,
the
cool.
best thing. My mentor taught me that 20 years ago. And literally when you put it on, it lets you, like, you know, it's like this
Rest the
big,
back.
and then you just rest your head and you can work for hours. I mean, I'm not telling you to do that, but you can get by 2-3 hours, maybe even 4, and it's not even, you got to take care of your back and your spine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So get your neck brace. It is worth it. I also have knee pads too when I'm doing like weird stuff or whatever. The knee pads really help. So I remember one time I did a huge dome, and the company built the scaffolding too high, so we had to work on our knees. They wouldn't come back and lower it. And that was the worst experience of my life. But once I got those kneecaps, knee things, I was rolling. I was good to go.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome. Everybody get your neck brace. You're gonna need it. Okay, guys. Well, this has been wonderful. If you try the metallic textured wall, please drop it, in the community. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. And I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.